All right, so one day I'm walking down the hallway. This is my back in my grade 11 days, and I'm walking down the school hallway, and I feel this deep, deep anxiety. I've always had anxiety. I still have anxiety. I've had it before too, but I noticed that this year it had skyrocketed. I had way more anxiety than before, and I'm walking down this hallway. I feel like everyone's staring at me, everyone's looking at me, and mind you, there's literally no one in the hallway, but it's just this feeling of all eyes on me, and just this tension. I can't quite explain it, but it's just heightened anxiety is what it really is. And I think to myself, what the hell happened? It wasn't My anxiety wasn't this bad before, yet it has skyrocketed this year. What's changed? Well, let's look into that. So back in those days, I was doing everything you classify as being in the comfort zone, right? I was masturbating 3+ times a day, smoking weed multiple times a day, playing video games, wasting my time on my phone, and anything that made me feel good, I would do it. And to be honest with you, there were days where I borderline felt like life was not worth living. Now, I'm not trying to make a connection with like, oh, you'll play video games and you'll that's not what I'm saying. But I'm just trying to explain my mental state at that time. It was horrific, 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 right? And now let's go over kind of how things changed, right? So I decided I was done with that. I had enough of basically not really making anything of myself. So I started to dedicate myself to fitness. I dedicated myself to fitness, achieved my goal physique, and then I dedicated myself to improving my finances because my financial situation was garbage. I improved that as well. And I remember about 3 weeks ago, I was sitting down at my boxing class, and I felt incredible. This was after we've done a few sessions, so the endorphin rush was there as well, and I just felt incredible. And I remember thinking that this is the difference between how I used to feel and now I feel now was staggering. And I remember just being so thankful for life and just so grateful for being there and taking the journey to improve myself and believing in myself, right? And it really was a pivotal moment. These are totally different mindsets, from that start to this start. And at least for me, when I was deep in the comfort zone, kind of just numbing my pain as much as possible, I can tell you that my mental health was deteriorating, right? And I just wasn't doing good. And the solution I found for it anyway, and we're going to jump into some practical tips in a little bit. I'll timestamp this video as well. But the solution I found for it anyway was to improve myself and start to progress in every aspect of life, right? So improving my physical health, that was great. Obviously, from an egotistical point of view, a little bit as well, but just in general. And with improving my financial situation, it was great because I was finally able to not be broke for myself, which is nice, but also have money to like give to my parents or give to family members or anyone who I saw who was in need of money. I was able to provide there as well, which was a beautiful feeling. So the end point I'm kind of trying to make here is it's not as much about the money and such things, but being in that comfort zone again for my mental health was horrific, right? I can confidently say it ruined my life. Now, does that mean you should never do anything, that's fun? Like, no. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that later. But point being, when I was deep, deep into that and only that, I can confidently say it was ruining my life. Okay, so now let's talk about some practical tips, right? So what did I do to get out of that practically, and what would I advise? So this is just caveat. This is just what I did. Of course, there are many different ways to going about things. This is what I did. So first thing I did was I got on NoFap. That was kind of my start to my self-improvement journey. Now, for those of you who don't know about NoFap, it's basically when you stop watching porn and stop masturbating. Now, it's a bit of a controversial one. It really is. But for me, it was definitely what I needed. I was numbing my emotional pains that I needed to face with both of those activities. So that was a game changer for me. Doing that really allowed some of the emotions to come to the surface, which I was trying to numb, right? The second thing that really helped me out was just sticking to one thing. There were so many times in my life where I would start different ventures and never finish them. Like I wanted to make money online, so I started researching how to create like affiliate marketing websites, and I would spend like a week on it and then jump to like the next shiny thing. Or I would, say, oh, I'm gonna do so good in school, I'm gonna kill it. I would do it for like a week, and then I'd be back to my old ways. What really changed my life was just sitting down, really thinking to myself, what's the one thing I can do which if I do this, it would drastically improve my quality of life, even if I did nothing else. And for me, that was fitness because I was very deeply insecure about myself. So I dedicated myself to fitness, and yeah, I did that. I achieved the physique that I wanted, and from there, things kind of started to skyrocket themselves, right? Because the momentum was built. I knew that I had achieved the goal of fitness, so I could achieve any other goal. I just needed to put my mind to it and get it done. A great book about this concept is The One Thing by Gary Keller. It was a life-changing book for me. I definitely recommend checking it out. So those would be my two practical tips in the scenario. One, NoFap helped me. So if anything I said about numbing your pain with porn and masturbation resonates with you, then maybe that's a route to look at. And the second was about the one thing, about just taking one thing and sticking with it, and sticking with it till the bitter end until you actually got the result, instead of just jumping from one thing to the next week by week, right? And that's what really helped me out. So yeah, that is, I think a shorter video today, but I hope that gives an idea of how the comfort zone ruined my life and how I'm doing much better after pursuing some of the harder things which I was avoiding before. I'll put my Instagram and TikTok here. Please do support over there. Please like, comment, subscribe here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.